Welcome back to This Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the file on one of America's most infamous, deeply chilling, and entirely unsolved true crime mysteries, the Black Dahlia. We're gonna really zero in on the genuinely baffling, surgically precise details of this 1947 case. We'll be focusing heavily on the unprecedented forensics and the incredibly bizarre evidence that the killer left behind. It's a case that has absolutely puzzled investigators for nearly 80 years. And honestly, the clinical exactings of it all is exactly what makes it so enduring. Let's dive in. So picture this. It's a chilly, quiet morning in Los Angeles. January 15th, 1947. A woman is out walking with her child, and they spot what looks like a discarded mannequin just lying in a vacant lot. But as they step closer, the horrific reality sets in. It wasn't a mannequin at all. It was the body of a young woman. The sheer shock value of this discovery really cannot be overstated. This wasn't just a murder, It was a scene so bizarre and so uniquely disturbing that it immediately sent the entire city of LA into an absolute panic. Section 1. The victim, Elizabeth Short. Let's separate the fact from the fiction. Before we get into the grim details of the crime scene, we have to talk about who we're actually dealing with here. Her real name was Elizabeth Short. She was a 22-year-old from Massachusetts who, like thousands of other young women after World War II, moved to Los Angeles with these big, grand dreams of becoming a Hollywood actress. The real Elizabeth? Her friends described her as quiet, charming, and someone who loved wearing elegant black clothes with her dark hair. But the tabloid myth? Well, newspapers painted her as this woman living a highly glamorous, highly dangerous lifestyle. Today, historians pretty much universally agree that those stories were massively exaggerated just to sell papers. They completely stripped away the humanity of a 22-year-old girl who was simply chasing a dream. Moving on to Section 2, the forensics, a truly baffling crime scene. The exactness of this crime scene is really what cements it in history. Clinically speaking, Elizabeth's body had been cut cleanly into two distinct pieces. It was a bisection executed with this terrifying surgical precision. On top of that, the body had been completely drained of blood. I mean, there was literally zero blood at the scene. The killer had deliberately washed the body before leaving it there, and then carefully, almost methodically, posed her, hands placed above her head, legs spread apart. It was as if the body itself was being used as a sick kind of message. And then, we get to the most horrifying detail of all. Her face had been severely mutilated. The killer carved what doctors refer to as a Glasgow smile. If you aren't familiar, this is a wound cut right from the corners of the victim's mouth all the way up to their ears, creating this permanent, terrifying grin. This wasn't just a physical attack. It highlights the incredibly calculated, intense psychological horror inflicted by the murderer. The sheer coldness of it is just deeply, deeply unsettling. So here is the huge deductive realization made by investigators at the time. Because she was entirely drained of blood, and because her body had clearly been washed prior to being discovered, that vacant lot, it was merely a drop-off point. It absolutely was not where she died. Someone had to transport her body after the murder. And what that means is the real crime scene, the location where this grueling surgical act actually took place, is somewhere else entirely. And to this very day, no one has ever found it. Section 3. The evidence. Taunting the investigators. If we map out the timeline, it reveals a really rapid, terrifying escalation. January 15, the body is discovered. Just days later, an anonymous package brazenly shows up at a local newspaper office. And in the following weeks, even more letters are sent directly to the authorities. The killer seemingly loved watching the police struggle. And every single time a new message arrived, the national media went into an absolute frenzy, spreading this intense fear across LA. People were locking their doors, parents were warning their kids, it was chaos. So, what was inside that first anonymous package? Incredibly specific, undeniable items that belonged to Elizabeth. We're talking her birth certificate, her social security card, personal photographs, an address book, and a few other personal belongings. The killer sent these specific items to prove, without a doubt, their direct involvement and basically to just toy with the authorities. They wanted everyone to know exactly who was pulling the strings. But here is the absolute kicker from a forensic standpoint. Every single item in that envelope had been carefully wiped and cleaned with gasoline. Why gasoline? To completely obliterate any trace of fingerprints. It was an incredibly calculated forensic countermeasure.
And inside this perfectly clean package was a chilling message, signed with a moniker that would go down in history: the Black Dahlia Avenger.
Section 4. The suspects. Hundreds investigated, 0 answers.
You can only imagine the massive scale of the investigation that followed. Hundreds of detectives were on the hunt. But get this, during all of this, a staggering 50 different people actually came forward and falsely confessed to murdering Elizabeth Short. 50. Some were just desperate for media attention, while others were tragically suffering from severe mental illness. But none of their stories matched the actual physical evidence. Think about the absolute nightmare this created for the police, having to vet every single one of these claims while the real killer was just walking free.
So, how on earth did investigators narrow it down? Well, the unique forensic requirements of the murder directly shaped the suspect profiles. That precise bisection of the body, that led detectives to heavily scrutinize local doctors and surgeons. The clear need for advanced medical training also pointed them toward military personnel. And the fact that the real crime scene was so perfectly hidden suggested it was someone with serious resources, potentially figures in organized crime or wealthy Hollywood elites. The forensic evidence essentially dictated the profile. Now, over the decades, dozens of theories have popped up. One of the most famous, and definitely one of the most controversial, is the Steve Hodel theory. Steve Hodel, who was actually a former detective himself, put forward a massive investigation arguing that his own father committed the crime. While this theory has grabbed worldwide attention, spawning books and documentaries, it is really vital to note that no conclusive evidence has ever proven the claim. It remains just a theory, but it brilliantly shows how this case still generates just intense, unending speculation. Ultimately, the frustrating reality of this case is that the investigation was severely handicapped by the era it happened in. Back in 1947, there was no DNA technology. There were no advanced fingerprint recovery methods to pull prints off of things that had been washed in gasoline, and there were absolutely no reliable witnesses to the crime itself. Without those modern forensic tools, every single promising theory eventually slammed into the exact same dead end. Section 5. An unsolved mystery. 80 years of secrets. We are now nearly 8 decades removed from that freezing January morning in 1947. And yet, modern forensic experts are still reviewing the old files. Researchers are still digging. The Black Dahlia remains America's most enduring true crime mystery. It's a pretty stark reminder that even with all of our modern knowledge, some secrets just survive for generations. Someone knew the truth, and they likely took that secret straight to the grave. Which leaves us with the ultimate question as we wrap up this explainer. Look at the forensic evidence. Look at that surgical precision. Was the killer a highly skilled surgeon? Was it a serial murderer just passing through? Or was it someone hiding in plain sight the entire time? It's an 80-year-old secret that continues to puzzle the world. Thanks so much for joining me today to explore the chilling facts behind this mystery. Keep questioning,